Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Energy News Beat Daily Stand-Up. My name's Stuart Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. Today is March 5th, and I tell you what, the news desk is going crazy. Trump's plan to end the green spending grift once and for all is the first story right around the corner. Then we have in the following this kind of a theme, hedge fund built on energy bets. Clean energy is dead for now. They lost billions. You can't buy that kind of entertainment. Delaware's green energy mandates behind skyrocketing power bills. Grid woes. You can't buy this kind of entertainment. Rising energy bills spark anger over green agenda in Dem-Led states. If you're in a Dem state, you might want to move. And then it's going to finish up with Ukraine's minerals won't solve the U.S. supply chain problems. I'll tell you why here in a bit. That's a good article. Well, let's get started with this first story here. Trump's plan to end the green spending grift once and for all. This is what he promised on the trail. President Trump campaigned on ending what he calls the Green New Scam. Toward that end, he issued an executive order on his first day in office titled Unleashing American Energy that reads in part, all agencies shall immediately pause the disbursement of funds appropriated through the Inflation Reduction Act of IRA of 2022. While pausing the disbursement for the Green New Deal is a great start, it's only a pause. The fastest way to clean the Energy New Deal spending is for the Republican-controlled Congress to repeal it in upcoming budget reconciliation legislation. If that does not happen, it is only going to be a temporary pause to the tune of about $11 trillion, which will bankrupt the country. About 80% of manufacturing investments spurred by the Biden-era climate law have flowed to Republican districts. Effort to stop federal payments are already causing pain. This is going to be a severe issue for the Republican Congress because they've got now voting blocks that are in this. So Trump may have to end the Green New Deal spending on his own in a way that will pass judicial muster at the Supreme Court. They go ahead and go into here's the path forward. The scientific basis for the Green New Deal spending is a 2009 Obama Environmental Protection Agency rule called the endangerment finding, which endangered greenhouse gas emissions harm public health and welfare. The endangerment finding is not etched in stone and could be repealed by a Trump EPA administrator, Lee Zeldin, who I think is just a cool cat. And you're welcome on the podcast anytime, Lee. Conveniently, the same executive order calling for the Green New Deal to be terminated contains a provision to the EPA to commence a process for reviewing the endangerment finding in a partnership with the White House Office of Management and Budget. So this is from the Washington Examiner, and it's an excellent article. So with that, let's run to the next story here. Hedge fund built on energy bet says clean energy is dead for now. Less than a year after launching a hedge fund dedicated to the green energy transition, its founder says there's currently no financial gain to be had from investing in renewable power. The whole sector, wind, solar, hydrogen, and fuel cells, anything clean is dead for now, said Nishant Gupta, founder and chief investment officer at London-based Canoe Capital LLP. The fundamentals are very poor. Gupta, who worked at Clean Energy Transition, a hedge fund with about $2.7 billion under management before branching out on his own. I'm not talking about long term. I'm talking about where I see weakness right now. And the chart really does show that it is dead for right now. But when we take a look, this article brings up some bigger points. Energy transition related investments are expected to increase around 1.8 trillion per year to 5 to 6 trillion by the end of the decade, he said, with roughly a third of that spending directed toward the supply chain, which were highly focused on identifying supply chain bottlenecks as core investment opportunities. I want to make it very clear. The world has spent trillions of dollars. And with the current technology, wind, solar, and hydrogen cannot match and or be a solution on their own without nuclear and oil and gas. The micro view of this marketplace is Texas. Texas has all the above, and they are running cheaper and successfully compared to the other green environments in the United States. Taking a look at Delaware, New Jersey, California, and New York, the rest of the world's following this same microcosm. In a. Here is a critical quote. When a heat pump and an EV charger are both added to a home, electricity uses nearly triple. And this surge in demand significantly benefits Legrand. The company's biggest investors are Sun Life, Massachusetts Financial Services, and BlackRock, according to data compiled by Bloomberg. So, holy smokes, Batman. This is a great article by Bloomberg. Overall, the grid investment is going to increase, Gupta said, and the supply chain will benefit from that. But in the meantime, the consumers for overall electrical payments is going to increase. Any place you plug in a solar farm, because they're intermittent, you have to put in the 3 times the nameplate just to keep the grid stable. A different kind, either storage or natural gas or nuclear, or keep your coal going. It's physics and fiscal responsibility matter to the grid. It does not care. So anyway, I think this hedge fund article is an excellent article from Bloomberg. Delaware's green energy mandates behind skyrocketing power bills, grid woes. Delaware consumers face soaring electrical prices as it continues to enforce green energy production mandates and retire fossil fuel plants. In January, Riley and her husband saw a staggering month-on-month hike of 359%. Quote, we were surprised to see it go from $90 to nearly 400, and we're not even in the house, she told the Free Beacon. Riley's neighbors and nearly family have experienced identical price shocks. In 2021, the state passed rules forcing 40% of power production to be green by 2035, despite being one of the most fossil fuel dependent states in the country. You can't buy this kind of stupid and entertainment. Based on Delaware law, we are required to meet the state's renewable energy requirements by incorporating a blend of renewable resources into the energy procured and passed along to consumers, a Delmarca spokesperson said. And this is absolutely horrific. And it's another documentation that the green energy is not fiscally sustainable without subsidies, and it is costly. And I have talked about this for a long time. We are about to see, and you have a wind farm and a solar farm, when they hit their end of life, the wind farm and the solar farm are most likely going to be bankrupt. And I've even heard this from other folks. Executives were told that if they have to put dismantling and putting deconstruction and land reclamation costs into that wind farm, they will not do it. It means they will not even start the project if they have to budget for them coming out. That tells me that in the United States, of the thousands upon thousands of windmills and solar panels that are out there, it is going to be a land reclamation political nightmare for the landowners. So this is going to be a huge problem. The oil and gas industry has come a long way in getting it. They still have a lot to do to grow, but they are a more mature market in land reclamation and doing a great job. Let's go to the next story here. Rising energy bills spark anger over green agenda in Dem-led states. Rising energy bills in Dem-led states. That we just talked about one in Delaware, but this article talks about price hikes strikes in New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, and many other states. It feels like suddenly people woke up, said Paul Craney, executive director of the Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance. I think over time, yes, blame will be squarely on elected leaders. Massachusetts Democrats aim to eliminate all greenhouse gases by 2050. They can't do that without nuclear or natural gas, but they're going to get rid of the natural gas and then they're not going to have the power. So Governor Marla Haley, a Democrat, recently approved a 25% budget increase for the Mass Save program. She's prioritized the elimination of all fossil heating sources in the state. This is just an absolute nightmare. This is in the Washington Times. A local television news interview, the governor said then her administration is not to blame for the higher costs. But she has asked the Department of Public Utilities to take a look at the rates and do anything that we can to lower heating bills. No, it's 100% your fault because you're putting in a Green New Deal plan in place. So, with that, I want to give Reese Consulting a shout out. They have got some great things coming around the corner. Steve has sent me a note, and we're going to be covering a lot of that in our upcoming podcasts. And when you talk about natural gas, the review that I've been doing on the grid, the United States is in trouble. And Texas, fortunately, in the ERCOT grid system, seems to have a very good grip on what is going on. And the United States grid is, I'll tell you, oh, Chris Wright is the right man because it's going to be one coming along. But if you are in the natural gas space or you're in the energy space and you want to go from energy, from natural gas, from the wellhead to the power plant, you need Reese Consulting. Give them a call. They know how to save you money and make your project profitable. Ukraine's minerals won't solve U.S. supply chain problems. We've all seen this debacle going on with President Zelensky in the Oval Office, and hats off to President Trump and Vice President Vance. I absolutely love their response in throwing him out of the office. He subsequently has apologized today on the 4th on X. I don't believe it for a nanosecond. I believe that he is very self motivated and self interested. And I think the only way that we will have peace in Ukraine is if we see an election and Zelensky is voted out. I believe that that is the only way that it's going to happen, and that you're going to see then Zelensky's replacement and President Trump and President Putin negotiate a peace plan that will work together with all. But in this article, the United States and Ukraine reportedly came close in recent days to signing a landmark mineral agreement that the Kiev Independent report obligated Ukraine to pay 50% of the proceeds from future monetization to relevant Ukrainian government-owned natural resources, including mineral oil and gas, to a fund the two countries would own. That is very, very good and very, very critical. But at the minerals, this article points out, and also there's also rumored that a mineral deal was also signed with Ukraine, with the UK and Ukraine. So how much does he have that he can enter into the deal with the United States? You almost have to pick or choose which one do you want to go with. Is it going to be the UK and Starmer, or is it going to be the United States? I got to see some numbers here. The new approach, trading Ukraine's potential resource wealth in return for vague assurances from the U.S. support, has been characterized by some, including former Ukrainian official who spoke with the Associated Press, as a colonial agreement. I disagree with that. Both Zelensky and Trump have publicly lauded what Trump describes as very valuable rare earth minerals at a group of 15 to 17 trace rare earth minerals in applications such as magnet and others. But there is a real question of whether or not these minerals are in areas of the country that are viable. That needs to be seen. There is a report that's out there. I have not gone through the geological report yet. I'm trying to get my hands on it to go through it to see how viable the whole thing is. But if President Zelensky has already signed a deal with the UK, I want to know how valid or how much interest or monetary value is going to be able to be given to the United States for all the money that we put into the war. So, with that, I hope you like, subscribe, read this to your pets, print it out, read it to them, share this with your friends. We just appreciate all of the great readers and transcripts. We are on track right now to be over 15 million transcripts read. That's not include downloads, listens, or anything else. That's just off of the news site. We are so excited about the volume that we have here at Energy Newsbeat. For Michael Tanner and my name's Stu Turley, we do appreciate everything you guys are doing. Have a great day. See you next time.